Hi everyone, welcome back to An Accidental Retiree and my writing vlog for April 2026 and the writing challenge. Let's see how it went. Hi, welcome to April's writing vlog. And last night I did a little bit of writing and I got to 22,000, so I'm going to be opening this up and I'm going to put that down. So my word count was 21,747 at the start of November. So that's a long time ago. But now I have 22,027 words, but I'm just going to write down March's tally as of March on this project, 22,000. I finished around midnight last night. And the reason why I'm going to keep this around, though, because I want to kind of keep tally of that and make note of it somewhere else. So I'm going to keep that post-it sort of up there. I'm going to put this one over here so I remember that. And then I'm going to put this 22,000 here, which will help us when I finish. I have 27 words so far today. Wow, big 27 words. And I'm going to be having lunch soon, so I'm not sure, a very late lunch because it's like around 4:30. But I did want to see if it showed up here, and I wanted to show you. It's a good day to write. I have that sticker there. I'm going to be putting a couple other stickers on. But I'm going to see if I can get this to work with my, use my other stuff here. And we'll see. I'm going to like pull stuff up, and I'm going to do a little time lapse with voiceover later, and then I'll do a little end of what I did today. So I'm pulling everything out. And let's see if I can get this on. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but we'll see. And I'm going to do this, and I will be back with some time lapse in just a minute. That was a bummer. I guess I'm not going to take you long writing here because I need to charge my laptop. No worries though. My iPad is charged, and I will be working on that in my living room. And I don't think I'll be filming it though, because I think my food might be here. And I do want to eat something and take my blood pressure pill because I'm feeling a little wonky because I took my blood pressure pill earlier than usual, which is okay. Ay. I feel a little funny when I'm on antibiotics. And if you noticed on some of my last part of the vlogs that I do in March, you can hear it, but I'm doing much better that way. But you know, it's the last 2 days of it, so yeah, I'm going to be done with it soon. That's the good thing. I don't know what I'm going to do today. I could work on something for my cleanup project later, which that wouldn't be on camera, but I think I'm going to work in my living room on some writing or just reading research for the 18th century, which is part of my goal for this month too. So, but I will be doing a little writing tonight. I want to get back into it. I was having fun last night, but I don't want to write quite so late, and we'll see. But I do want to get something more than 27 words for today finished. So I'll be writing. I don't know how long. And, you know, my goal was 50,000 words, but if I get there, I get there. If I don't, I don't. I will get somewhere along the path, and that's the main thing. So I will say bye for right now, and I'll see you another day in April. It is like the 14th of April. I wrote quite a bit the very first part of the month, and then, yeah, I've been doing a lot of research for my 18th century book, not writing the one that I was going to try to finish this month. Actually, kind of two that I was kind of trying to finish this month, because I was going to do 50,000 words, and that would have given me like one and, well, a good one done. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to change my goal to like 5,000, which is still doable, and maybe I'll do more. Great. I'm just going to do the Tolkien method, because I've got other things, one of them being a housekeeper and babysitter and wife and, you know, all those things. And my husband is retiring next month, so then I can do a little bit more challenges. I'll know what's going, we'll get our house more in order. So what has happened with my writing this month? I did great the first 3 or 4 days. I have like 1,400 words in, an extra 1,400 of that 22,000, I think it is, but don't quote me. I'll let you know at the end of the month. I was going to do 50,000 words, but I have so much to do. And when you see the April vlog, you'll see kind of some of what I've been working with here. I really want to get my house in order, and a little bit better order before my husband retires, and then even better order after that. But that's what I'm working on, and I made a little headway today. I did make headway, and I'm working on 2 different videos. I'm doing like organization videos too, besides the monthly vlog, and I don't know if that one will ever go up or not, but you know, it might be strongly edited when I do, but I'm sure I will at some point in time, especially if this looks nice, like I'm hoping it will. Anyway, I have been acquiring yet more books. And one thing, because I'm researching the 18th century, so I've been looking a lot at the costuming, well, not costuming, but what they wore, and looking at that history, because I really need to understand that if I'm going to write characters that are living in that time. So I'm doing that, and I also thought this is very important to read The Common Sense by Thomas Paine, and some other works by Thomas Paine. So I got this copy, and I'm going to read that, which is going to be kind of dry probably, but you know, it's timely. It's really timely, because if you're in the rest of the world, you know that the United States has been going through a really tough few years. Not our easiest time in history, I don't think. And I've got this beautiful little thing that I got from Sage Goddess a few years ago, and doesn't that look so antique-y? Anyway, so I'm going to be reading Thomas Paine's Common Sense. And I think that I'm actually going to work on reading that today. And so you'll see a little time lapse of me doing that, because I'm rewarding myself after doing a little bit of making some good headway here. And I really don't want to sit down and just laze around right now. I also, you probably will be seeing this outfit on a lot of things coming up, because I do have to, I'm not going to take too much time. I'd like to write, but that would take more time than reading a few pages in here. So I'm going to read a few pages in here, and I have a book in there that I'm reading. So I'll work on those things, mainly because I want to have that kind of worked out a little bit more for me eventually. And anyway, so I'm going to, instead of working on the writing right now, maybe I'll do some writing later tonight, but as a reward, I'm going to work on reading this a little bit, and then maybe read a little bit in there too if I feel up to it later on before it gets too dark. I do have a lamp now by my chair, and I have a couple of other ways I can read too. So if my eyes aren't too tired, I may read a little bit more than watch TV tonight. But I don't know. I probably deserve a real good relaxation, because I did do a really huge project, and though it didn't turn out quite the way I had hoped, it made headway. So I'm going to do that, and we're going to do a little time lapse for my writing vlog for this month with me reading, because reading and writing are very connected. And when I taught children to read as a specialist, we always had a writing component to every one of our lessons. And I really felt like, and sometimes a writing day, I would do and this is the sneaky thing that I did, but nobody wanted to know that. And it was probably against the district, but not really, because it really was in their guidelines. There wasn't anything wrong with it. But especially after I went to the National Writing Project and took a course in that, and I really felt firmly that reading and writing are so connected. And I went to countless seminars where I spoke with some of the elite people in reading at the time. And I found that if I did a concentration of reading day and then a writing day, and Fontes and Pinnell did pick up on this. In fact, I think it was Irene Fontes that I talked to at a seminar, and she said their research was finding this, but before they came out with their little guided reading workshop type things that the kids would help striving students, and I worked with those for years too once they came out. But anyway, what I did is I would read with students and then have them have a day where we more concentrated on our writing, and it seemed like when I did that, it moved them along. And I made sure that they had chances to practice some of our key words that we were using in their writing. But I did allow a lot of creativity time for it, because I thought that was very important for children to be able to write their own stories and then read them. And so between those two things, it seemed to move kids along. I really wish my grandson could talk, because then I could move him along in that, but I haven't. I'm at a loss, and I have to be honest, with an autistic child, a severely autistic child, this has been my biggest struggle. I am at such a loss because I don't have the tools or maybe the patience or something that I need to help him along. I mean, he's doing well for in many ways. He's if you didn't know he couldn't talk, you'd think he was just a normal 5-year-old in many ways. But it's different. I love him to death, but I don't know. I'm hoping I do the best that I can, and now I may help homeschool him, and that I'm looking forward to it. But it's a scary thing too, because I don't know that I can rely on the tools that I had. I have to rely on something else and find something else. So that may distract me from some of my reading and writing too. But anyway, this is for my fun. Is going to always be my writing novels and stuff like that, and as it always has been. But I'm still hoping that I can get something published before I die, but I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to read a little bit of Thomas Paine's Common Sense. Many of his writings were very instrumental during the American Revolution, and also the French Revolution too had some influence, although theirs was more Robespierre. So anyway, we're going to, which would be a nice thing to read to at some point in time. But anyway, but not in French, because I can't, a translation. Anyway, so, although I suppose I could go online and learn a little French. That might be interesting too. I can't imagine that. Anyway, we'll see. I'm not great with foreign languages. I wish I were, but I'm not. I can barely do this English thing, I guess, So anyway, I'm going to be back in a second with a little time lapse. just that little bit was very enlightening. And I need to go back, and I hate to highlight this beautiful book, but I think I probably will highlight a couple of sections in it, just a couple little bits. And it's very interesting because he gets into the history right now, and this is in the very first few pages. He starts talking about how civilization used to be the hierarchy in a patriarchal family, or not necessarily patriarchal family, but it was usually the family unit. It was very, it was, groups of people, but there wasn't like a king and so on. But it, like he was talking about how um, having kings in Israel, for example, was a heathen concept, and and it led to some very, negative things. So, and if you're looking at what I believe is, the Word of God, the Bible, in our Judeo-Christian tradition, it is also a history of our civilization. And, that's why it's always kind of good for any learned person to have read the Bible, whether you believe or not. It's, you can look at it as the Bible as a history book, and the history of civilization, a part of civilization, a certain area of civilization. So, anyway, in fact, when I was in school, in high school, they had a class. I did not take it because, well, I had my own religious beliefs and so on, and my mother wanted me to follow my religious faith, and didn't want me confused in case there would be any confusion. Also, it could have been controversial, whatever was there, and my mom was a teacher in the district, so she just didn't want me to be taking that for whatever reason. But I did hear about the class, and sometimes it was promoted by some of my sociology teachers and so on, and so I knew what it was kind of about, but I didn't take it. And I knew people that did take it, and most of them were very fundamental Christians, is what you would call them now. So yeah, and yeah, so I didn't take it, and sometimes it was like, I don't know if I had other things to take. Let's just put it that way. So I didn't take that particular course, but they did offer it in public school. So, anyone that says that the Bible was not studied in public schools in the 70s, I went to, school, and I graduated in 77. So I don't know if it ever, when and if it was ever taken out of the curriculum, but it was something that was available as a choice. An elective, I guess is what you would call it. But I had plenty of other electives that I took because I was very involved in music and theater and so on. So I was a busy gal. Anyway, so I'm going to put my name in this book at some point in time, but I'm not doing it today. I do like that little thing on it for my little marker. And I'll go back, and I'm going to take notes on those little portions or something. Maybe I'll just take notes before I go on those two little things, and write down those quotes somewhere, type them out or something at some point in time. Anyway, so that's kind of what you do as you read and you write, and how writing and reading can be connected. And that would be something like, I might have taught my kids in school to do. So, and I do in my own practice, in my own learning. And then, I use some of that knowledge as I craft my novels and my creative writing pursuits. So, at least I'm trying to do that more and more. So, that is what I'm doing. Whether it will be good or not, well, that's up to the reader. But it's the process that I'm enjoying. And, really, I think any writer should do that, is enjoy the process. If you aren't enjoying the process, you're probably not putting out a good product anyway. And so you can do all of your deadlines that you want to, and have all of your you know, notebooks and journals that you've, you know, made these goals, and, you know, inevitably you change them, and that is okay, because the end product is what is the important thing. And we all, especially as creatives, we usually bite off more than we can chew. If you're like me, you go into many directions and many creative pursuits and get really down rabbit holes, which I do. I've been buying patterns to make 18th century clothes, which I don't know if I'm going to do that. And I also have a few costumes which I'll be trying on, which probably won't fit me. And then I'm going to learn how to alter things. And I want to alter them in more 18th century ways, which means hand sewing. Although I have a sewing machine I might use to cheat, but I'm going to try to hand sew some things for myself, just because this is what they did in the 18th century. They really didn't have sewing machines until the late 19th century, mid 19th century. There might have been a few, I think, in the 1850s maybe, but they weren't commonplace until the 1880s and on. And even those were, not that commonplace until, later on. And they were, you would use a little crank, or then eventually you had the throttle with foot pedals that you could attach your machine to. So I've been learning a lot about that kind of stuff. Great person to learn about that kind of thing is Bernadette Banner. She's really great. I really enjoyed watching her for years now. She's a much younger person, more like my children's age. But who says I can't learn from someone that is my children? I learn from my children. It's okay. I think the stupidest people put an age on knowledge, that think that someone older can't give you good knowledge, and someone younger can't give you good knowledge, that you can't learn from someone that is any other age. I think when you develop prejudices against ageism in any shape or form, whether it be younger or older than you, then you're losing out. And, yeah. Yesterday, I think I had an experience with a nurse practitioner, and it just didn't go well. She had an attitude towards me. And I wonder if it was the white hair that she just, had this, pre-gone conception that, and I just really had a question. I didn't know where to go for it. But I had two issues going on, and I'm not sure that she should have just missed the first one quite as much as she did, but I'm just going to be cool. Well, I did a lot of writing, but not necessarily on my project. I mean, I did a lot of research for the series. I got some thoughts in. I did some note taking. I did the whole bunch. I did lots of ordering and reorganizing my thoughts, and having that beginning chapter kind of fit into other vlogs that I'm going to be doing for you, or other videos that I'm going to be doing, which I'm hoping to give you sort of a history lesson of my country, and at least in my terms and what I learn and what I already know as well. And because I think it's really important at this point in my country's history after 250 years. Anyway, so I really went down that rabbit hole and really got into the 18th century this month. But I did do a little writing, and I am at 23,494 words, something like that, in my writing. Yeah, 23,494 words is where I ended on the novel, the 1960s novels that I'm working on. So I have that much done, but I don't know if, I still don't know that that isn't 2 different projects yet, which that's okay. That's okay. That's part of the process. And that is kind of like, kind of a climax, but not maybe the climax of the whole series that I'm working on. So kind of when we start to really discover some things and see how things are going. So it's an important part kind of to write and start and then go back and start the series. So it's going to be a long time, if ever this gets published. But I'm having, the journey is half the fun. And so, but you will see vlogs of the real history. And that's, so nothing is going to be lost. And my opinions kind of on some of that and how it pertains to today. So that will be coming up, hopefully, in future videos in the next few years. So anyway, it was a productive month, but not as productive as I had hoped. I got sick again, of course. At the very end of the month, we had neurovirus here, and I had it really bad. And so getting over that, recovering. This is early May when I'm finally filming it, May 5th. So yeah, it's been an interesting time. Anyway, so I hope you liked this video and the things that I did share from this month. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. Do subscribe to my channel, An Accidental Retiree. I'm Tammy E, saying bye for now. God bless and see you soon.